unfortunately, a lot of families assume they're not going to qualify for any financial aid, so they don't bother completing the FAFSA. Although income is a considerable factor in determining financial aid, it's only one of 7 factors used. In fact, it's not uncommon or unreasonable to assume a family with significant income could qualify for need-based financial aid. The key here is that you should never assume you won't qualify. Complete the forms, then make your decision on facts, not assumptions. Let's talk about each of these 7 factors and some common errors that I see families make when completing the FAFSA. First, the size of family household. You'd think this is an easy question, and it is for a family with a mom and a dad and 2 kids living at home. Yes, the answer for that family is a household of 4. But how about if grandma lives with a family? Or how about a student with divorced or separated parents and he shares his time between 2 households? You'll want to make sure that you understand the rules for who is in your student's household for FAFSA purposes. For FAFSA purposes, the student should report the household where he sleeps the majority of the time. So if mom has custody for 51% of the time, mom's home is his household for the FAFSA application. A costly error that families make is assuming that parents who claim the student on their tax return is therefore the custodial parent for the FAFSA, and that's just not true. Now, on the other hand, if mom's remarried, then mom's husband and any step-siblings that also live in the house are also included in the household. So you may be a single child and your mom's remarried and your stepdad has 3 kids, then you're a family of 5 and all of the stepdad's income also gets taken into consideration. So I talk to families who say, yes, I understand that rule. I see the question, and it says, enter father's information, and they do. No. If dad is not living in the custodial home, then the father's section has to be left blank on that FAFSA. It's not very intuitive, so that's why I always remind people about this error that I see all the time. So why does the FAFSA application even care about size of household? The government calculates an income allowance based on the household size, and the FAFSA cares about household because they want to know all the income that's coming into that household. Second factor is the age of the parents. Again, you'll be listing the parents in the household, either mom and dad or mom or dad or some version of step-parents. The age of the oldest parent is important because the FAFSA allows for an asset allowance based on how close a parent is to retirement. The third factor is how many students in the household will be attending college at the same time. This is one checkbox to check off, and if you have 2 students who will be attending college at the same time, each student will qualify for more aid, so don't miss this checkbox. Fourth factor is student income. Yes, student income counts on the FAFSA. This is a tough fact to deal with, especially with students who are looking to earn extra money. The FAFSA already accounts for parent income substantially, but it weighs student income as high as 50% towards the expected family contribution. The Department of Education recognizes this dilemma facing many families whose students need to work, and as a result, it's come up with an income protection allowance. Basically, this means that, at least for 2012 and 2013, a student could make up to $6,000 a year before counting on their FAFSA. So any income earned beyond that $6,000 would count towards the EFC. But other than that, students can earn up to $6,000 before it affects the formula. The fifth factor to consider in the EFC formula is student assets. Any students under the child's name are weighed heavily in this formula. The government figures if a student has money, they can afford to pay it for college. So if your child's sitting with a checking account that's a joint account or a custodial account, you want to make sure that if possible, you just don't want to have that money sitting in a student account. That is one asset that you could move pretty easily, and students are punished heavily for having money in their names. Now, if you have an UGMA or an UPMA that can't be moved into custodial parent account, and you think you might qualify for financial aid, you want to make sure you talk to someone. Come talk to me, because we don't want to have that UGMA or UPMA counting against you for financial aid. On the other hand, if you're not going to qualify for any grant money, then that's an okay place to have student money. The last 2 factors are the obvious ones: parent income and parent asset. The long and short of it is this: parent assets and income are weighed less harshly than student and parent income. Parents' assets are going to include savings, checking accounts, investment accounts. If you have a second home, tax-exempt interest, tax credits, investment property, 529s, money in a piggy bank. Every single penny that you have is going to be counted in the assets other than a few accounts that are exempted. Those few accounts are retirement accounts, cash value in life insurance, equity in your primary home, and equity in a business with less than 100 employees. Those are the only assets that don't get count. If you feel you have too many assets and accounts that are counting against you, give me a call. We should talk. The final factor is parent income. The income reported on the 2013 FAFSA is all income earned, whether it's taxed or not taxed in 2012. So if you contribute to a 401k this year, that contribution is included in your AGI for tax purposes. Is not included in your AGI, I should say, but it is included in the FAFSA income. I recommend that anyone who missed my College Smart radio show with guest Jody Aramo on September 29th should listen to the archive for the show titled Base Year Tax Planning Strategies. On that show, we delved into the details and strategies for maximizing your financial aid eligibility. Everyone should review that show before preparing for the FAFSA. So those 7 factors, plus a list of colleges, are the only factors that comprise of the 130 questions on the FAFSA. Sounds straightforward? It can be overwhelming, so come to one of my workshops or give me a call at 650-587-1559 if you'd like some help in the process. There are 2 basic strategies when it comes to putting together a college funding plan. If after completing the FAFSA, your family's EFC is higher than the cost of any college your student is applying to, you'd pursue what we call a tax advantage strategy. It means you don't expect to get financial aid. But if you think there's any way you're going to get financial aid, you want to pursue an aid-based strategy. And the key to proper planning is to determine which strategy you should be implementing as a result of determining your EFC. The first question you need to find out is there any way you're going to qualify for financial aid? The reason I discuss these 2 approaches to financial planning or financial college planning is that when parents complete the FAFSA, they sometimes make assumptions about where assets should be placed without first knowing which strategy they will use, nor the specific impact of their actions. My recommendation is, if you don't know, find out. Come to one of my workshops, give me a call for a consultation. You want to know this before you start submitting your FAFSA. Also know that your FAFSA is what you are expected to pay for college. Financial aid is typically offered for amounts above and beyond the expected family contribution, but usually only for the part in excess. There's often more money that's needed, and we call that the gap. When you're completing the FAFSA, keep these things in mind to make an effort to avoid most common mistakes. Incorrect Social Security numbers, big error. Misreporting of income, accuracy, especially of untaxed income, Social Security income, support payments. Do you get rental real estate income? Don't ever leave blanks, and remember the FAFSA does not care about the decimal point. All amounts are reported as whole dollars. Also, as a reminder, remember to select the correct FAFSA the year your child will actually be in college. You should be planning for your FAFSA submission early, if you can, when your student's a junior, but it's never too late to start planning if you need to be submitting a FAFSA this year. A great step is to get started is to attend one of my workshops, or if the dates and locations do not work for you, call me or email me directly and we'll schedule a complimentary consultation. Well, that wraps up another weekly show of College Smart Radio. We hope you picked up some new information today that helps you figure out ways to manage the runaway costs of college. You can hear us each week here on KDOW 1220 AM Saturdays at 3 p.m. We promise to bring you up-to-date information from the front lines of helping parents deal with the most expensive years of their lives. For a link to this podcast of this show or our prior weekly shows, go to our website, www.collegesmartradio.com. Also, plan to join us at one of our upcoming West Face College Planning workshops in San Carlos. Our last 2 workshops in 2012 are Saturday, December 8th and Wednesday, December 12th. December is a popular month with families preparing to file their FAFSA in January, and we do run out of seats. You do need to reserve your seat at the workshop. You can do so from the show's website, www.collegesmartradio.com. This is Beatrice Schultz. Thanks for tuning in to College Smart Radio. We look forward to sharing more helpful information next week.
You've been listening to College Smart Radio with certified financial planner Beatrice Schultz. If you have questions on today's topic, log on to collegesmartradio.com or call area code 650-587-1559. That's 650-587-1559. Join us next week at this time for another edition of College Smart Radio on AM 1220 KDOW.